Yeah, my name is John Gletch, and I run a real estate team here in San Diego now and in Phoenix. And since I run a team, one of the things that I love is personal growth, personal development. Been a big fan of yours, Darren, for years now. And one thing that gets frustrating as a leader of a team is not everybody on the team has that same passion and excitement for personal growth, for learning and growing as people. And so I'd love to know from you, what can I do as a leader to foster an environment and a culture where people are as excited and motivated as I am about personal development and about growth as people? It's something I've really struggled with, would love some advice on.
That's a great question, John. Good to see you. Good to see you live. Thanks for coming on with us. So, John, all of us who are committed to personal growth, we always assume that everybody else would be equally interested as well. But having been in the success media industry now for 25 years, I can tell you firsthand, they aren't. Most people just are not. In fact, a very small percentage of people are, which is why we call them the exception. When Publisher of Success, we'd stick our magazine on the news rack, assuming that it would fly off the shelves. It says right at the top, the one thing everybody wants without question: success. Do they want Car and Driver? Do they want Field and Stream? Do they want National Geographic or Cosmopolitan or Red Book? Right? But certainly everybody wants success, so it should be an easy choice. But no, only a fraction of a fraction picked success by comparison. You find out quickly that self-improvement, personal growth, a proactive interest in learning to become more successful is not a mainstream interest. In fact, it is so small, it is actually called an enthusiast category in the publishing world. More like the magazine's Wine Spectator or Cigar Aficionado, both of which, by the way, have larger circulation numbers than Success. I tell you that to explain. It is important first to understand the nature of who we are. We are not normally growth-oriented, even if you and I and those here on DarrenDaily are. People have to be pushed to grow, mostly. They have to be led. This is why even elite achievers and teams have coaches. They need them to push them to grow, to run more sprints than they would without them, to do more drills, to practice harder than they would. On their own, they're unlikely to do those relentless fire drill wind sprints or those awful bear crawls or those gut buster drills. So, number one, it takes a leader setting the pace, being the example, leading from the front, which I know you do a great job, John. Number two, people need a curriculum, a specific plan, a challenge, something specifically outlined, a program. This is why people sign up for fitness challenges and then immediately drop off after they're over. They train for a half marathon. They do the half marathon and then they don't run anymore, or they run very little. A program has to be long enough for the development to actually sink in. And number three, ideally, the personal growth, the training, and the pushing is not delivered by you, their persistent leader, but delivered by a third party. I've talked about this before, but you as their leader suffer what is called the law of familiarity. They mostly stop listening to you, or let's just say they get a bit tired of listening to you and being pushed by you. But when a credible third party says exactly the same thing you might be saying, all of a sudden they have all these fantastic epiphanies. This is why it has been so hard for parents having to be their kids' teachers in this pandemic era. They already don't listen to you about their chores and home behavior, and now you're pushing them in math and to do their essay. They really do need an outside teacher for that. So you could still be their mom and dad, and their teacher and sports coach is somebody else. You see, all these factors is why I set up the hero's journey the way I did, to help you solve these growth culture challenges. Number one, a specific curriculum to follow, to keep your people engaged in a planned process. You don't have to think about the program, you don't have to think about the plan, you don't have to think about their personal development for an entire year. I've done all that design work for you. And then number two, it's not delivered by you. I do all the work of driving and pushing and teaching and training. You get to keep your role and relationship with them focused on the business at hand, and I will push them in the field of leadership growth. And then number three, you get to go through the process with them. which helps you be the excellent example that you need to be, facilitating all these great and engaging discussions without having to do any of the design work or having it have to come from you. You have the facilitator's guide, which I have one right here, right? You've got the golden tablet, and all you have to do is just lead them through it step by step. So I hope that helps you. Those 3 factors to create that growth culture that you seek.